Hey, y'all. Thanks so much for listening to the Imiloa podcast or watching us, the webinar series online. We have folks that are listening to the podcast and accessing this webinar from all over the world, and we're super grateful that you're here. I'm Jake. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Imiloa Institute in Costa Rica. Imiloa is a home and an experience where human beings are invited to awaken their consciousness. And you can think of this series as a treasure chest of the world's leading transformational retreat hosts and how they share their mastery and expertise, insights, tips, tools with you to allow you to discover something new about yourself, about another human being, or about the world around you. Today's guest is Brigitte Wittmer. She lived in Brazil for 8 years and actually speaks Portuguese better than her native languages in Switzerland. She speaks 6 languages in all, and in February 2022, she's going to be hosting a partner dance retreat called Brazilian Zouk, which she travels the world teaching. I'm super excited that Brigitte is the guest today. Hey, girl.
Hello, Jake.
Nice
Good
to
to be here with
see
you.
Nice to see you. Where in the world are you right now with that glossy background?
Fancy, right? I'm in San Francisco right now at a friend's house.
How lovely. And you speak, I did not know this actually before we talked about doing this. You speak 6 languages.
Crazy, right?
And you think that you actually speak Portuguese better than your native language in Switzerland.
Yeah, I never thought that this would happen, but just like I immersed so much into the Brazilian culture, and language is a big part of it. And I think I also identify myself a lot with Portuguese, the way of being, and yeah, it just brings up parts of me that German is not, or Swiss German. Yeah.
I totally get it. I really appreciate you sharing that. In a moment, everybody, we're going to share with you all shortly how you can attend Brigitte's retreat here at Imiloa, February 10th to 15th, 2022. Brigitte, partner dance and Brazilian Zouk is something that before you and I met, I knew very little about. What is the basis of the practice and dance?
The basis.
Like, what's the foundation of it? What's the foundation of it?
Yes. I'm sure that you know lambada, right?
I'm sure that I don't actually. Sure.
No?
No.
Maybe the ones that was like, I think he was in the 70s and 80s. A super famous band, Kaoma, had a hit and they were dancing lambada to it. So it was like a lot of head movements, a lot of spins, a lot of hips. And it was called the Forbidden Dance. And then with time it transformed, and they took the music from the Caribbean Zouk, right? And they started dancing lambada to it. And this is how this fusion started to happen. And this is why it actually is called Zouk, Brazilian Zouk. There is also like other types of Zouks, right? The original one from the Caribbean. So yeah, and the base, what does it look like? It's very beautiful because you can dance really close, you know, and you can also just really open up and you have this vast opportunity to explore, like from being close to each other and having more intimate moments to really going crazy in the space.
Love that. By the end of this series, I hope that people are going to have a better understanding of how to apply certain Zouk dance movements to life, and even a bit more confidence to move and express yourself. And hopefully some of the ideas that Brigitte shares today will allow you to do that. Brigitte, I know it wasn't all globetrotting and sharing the magic of Brazilian Zouk with individuals and couples. I read that you were actually in a very abusive relationship in partner dance. What was that experience like?
Not my favorite experience for sure. Yeah, it was. I've been a dancer before, right? I've done like other styles, but it was always solo dancing. When I got into partner dancing, suddenly there's a partner, and because I'm a woman, I am the follower. And so I didn't get to choose what move we were going to do, where we going to go to. And this also reflected on like who was going to talk to us. And they were talking to us, but they were always talking with him. And so this part was one. And then just like he had the power over me because he was the one that was directing me into different places. And I just basically had to obey. Yeah. And it just brought me to a point. I was very eager and like training because I wanted to be great. I wanted to do everything perfectly, right? Yeah, but like he was like verbally and then at the end also physically very violent, abusive, and it was gradually, so I didn't feel it from the very beginning. Like in the beginning everything was beautiful and flowers, right? And the bubble just started to shift slowly. Like he was very manipulative, and once I was like realizing it, it was like already too late. Like it's when I realized, hey, like I'm
How long into you learning about Brazilian Zouk did this relationship start to take form?
Excuse me?
How long into the relationship with him, how long were you learning about Zouk before this relationship started to take off?
Not that long, actually. I knew about Zouk for like a year. Yeah, I've done Zouk for a year.
And so
then I got into this. Yeah.
I'm curious how the relationship affected, because sometimes when we find something that we really love and that we're really passionate about, moments like this can actually really affect our relationship with it, right? Obviously, you know, you being in this abusive situation, how did you kind of wake up and get out? How did you wake up and get out?
Yeah, how did I do this? It already didn't feel right, but I wasn't trained that this was not all right. Like I didn't know, like my system didn't know, right? That I had the option to go out or to say something. And he also monitored it, right? Like I was not able to or allowed to speak to certain people, right? He would always cut it. And then actually he left. We were in Switzerland after our Europe tour, and this is an incident before he left happened that just it opened my eyes. It was like the biggest aha moment. Like I am in an abusive relationship and admitting it to myself.
What was the situation?
We were dancing, and then like he would just like put his fingernails into my arms, and then at one point he just spit into my face on the dance floor, and I just felt so dirty. I felt and this is where I literally woke up.
That's a moment. That'll get you to wake up. I wonder, Brazilian Zouk is traditionally a male-dominated dance. I imagine this experience informed a lot of what you've now done with it and how you teach it around the world. From a male-dominated dance to more of a partner dance, like the retreat will be at Imiloa in February.
Yes.
What happened when you started introducing your ideas of balance between the genders in the dance? What was that experience like? And how did maybe more traditional dancers react to it?
Yeah, it was really interesting because for about 2 years I was avoiding to go there. I just, the trauma was too deep. But then after 2 years, I still, something was calling me. And so I went back, and you can imagine like the bailes, it's called, the parties, the dance parties in Rio. It's like over 100 people on the biggest parties just dancing for 6 hours straight. It's something beautiful, magical. And so I went in and I was like, I'm not the same anymore, you know, like I have changed. So how does this reflect in my dance? And so I started first just like figuring out other paths, still in the follower role. But then I got to a moment where it's like, hey, I'm going to take over the lead. Like, this doesn't make sense. Like, I will also take over the lead. And so I did it, and I just did it. I had not much idea of how leading worked. And yeah, obviously I was known afterwards as the crazy one. Like, she's crazy. Like, why are you doing this? And yeah, it was a process. And then I had friends call me like, oh, you can't just take over the lead, you know, that doesn't work. And I was like, why? Like, it's also my dance. It's our dance. Why can't I take over the lead? And then they're like, yeah, but you're doing exactly the thing that you also didn't like, you know, like when you just take. And I was like, whoa, that was like really, yeah, to realize that I was doing exactly the same that I didn't like, you know, just like commanding someone to do something. And so that was also my process on like, okay, how do I invite someone into my space? How do I wake up the person that is dancing with me to be present with me and yeah, have a dance together and yeah, get into this flow together.
Beautiful. I love that you were able to use your own pain from the relationship and realize you don't need to take, you can actually invite. And would you say that that invitation is how you've evolved the practice of Zouk? Zouk?
Zouk, yes.
Zouk? I want to say Zouk. Zouk?
Zouk.
Would you say that that's how it's evolved it though? It's through this, making it an invitation.
Yes, definitely. Like making it an invitation and making it more empathic, you know, like the traditional way, which is also beautiful. Like, I'm not denying this part, but we just gotta become aware that we are dancing with another human being, right? And the forms are beautiful, but what if the forms of the dance, the lines of the dance, are not corresponding to this other person that you're dancing with? The other person is not in an emotional, mental, whatever state right now, you know, like wants to dance your dance, especially like if you have this lead, only follow, right? So as a leader, it's about getting to know, looking at the other person. And I mean, not only looking with your eyes, looking with your whole body, with your skin, with your, yeah, we have our skin, that's the biggest organ we have. And just like seeing and feeling and yeah, learning about this as well, right? Because we are very focused, our society, just from here up here, and our body is talking 24/7, and we are able of like reading it, and it's a skill we gotta train, and yeah.
Speaking of our
Feel
body,
each other.
yeah, speaking of our body talking to ourselves, I want to turn our attention toward the people that are actually potentially curious about coming on the retreat. Why do you feel that so many of us, or why do so many people feel inhibited to move if we're not given a structure? I know you say that people often feel inhibited to move, Brigitte, if we're outside of the context of yoga or even sports. Why are we inhibited to move if we're not given a structure?
We could do something wrong, right? We could be doing something awkwardly, and yeah, there's so many factors to it, and something what I feel is like we are not appropriated of who we are, and like feeling it and just being comfortable with who we are. It's like another type of moving, and then it doesn't matter if we're off the mat, on the mat, or wherever we're at. And yeah, becoming aware of what are our movement possibilities, and yeah, just judgment is like your own judgment, I guess, is like the worst, or thinking what other people are thinking about you.
Do you provide, is there any structure in Brazilian Zouk?
Yes. So I obviously talk a lot about flow, but yeah, structure is a part of life, and we got to integrate both. And so I value structure a lot, but then also deconstructing it and seeing what else can we do with it, right? Instead of like the normal pathways. We have so much more than this concept Zook in my case, right? We have our whole body that has so many different capacities of expressing, and Zook for me brings in this freedom of exploring this, and so you can play within the structure, which is really important. So you have a tool set, and then I give you the tool set of your body and movement possibilities, and then you can fuse it nicely together.
So whether you're a fan of Zouk, which is kind of obscure, it'd be great if you are, but even if you just like to dance or want to be more in touch with your body, this retreat being held by Brigitte is February 10th to the 16th, 2022. No, February 10th to the 15th, excuse me, 2022. Imagine having a new relationship with your body and learning how to interact with it in a new way. And then imagine how that could impact your relationships. What could life be like for you if you chose to have more confidence to move? Imagine if you could start to free yourself of whatever your perceived gender roles are. How could your life, work, sex, or relationships transform? Brigitte's Embracing the Flow Partner Dance Retreat is at Imiloa, February 10th to, I'm sorry, it is the 16th. It's February 10th to 16th. No, it's February 10th to 15th. I have the dates wrong in my thing. Tell me, Brigitte. I'm flowing. I'm dancing through this.
Yes, this is part of life. 10th till the 15th.
That's what I thought.
Yes.
5 nights, 6 days. 10th to the 15th, February 10th to 15th, 2022. If you're thinking about coming in for Envision, for example, to Costa Rica, and you want to see some of Costa Rica, you can come to Brigitte's retreat for 5 nights and then travel around and then come back for the festival. Brigitte, I'm curious, how do people learn to be more confident in their moves in the retreat? So in the context of the retreat, how are you actually going to teach people to be more confident with their dance moves? This I'm very curious about.
So I love to play, right? And go into a childlike state. And I invite people to come with me on this journey, because as a kid, you don't really care, right? Everything is like interesting and curious. It's like, oh, what is this here? And like, just like, yeah, just exploring your body in different ways, and with less like, oh, damn, I'm just supposed to do this here. No, it's like, what can I do with this? And then look at the other person as well, and just inviting everybody who's gonna join to open up to this like inner child, right? And remember it, because we all were there and we have it still in us, and maybe we just gotta say hello, where are you? Come.
With people that you've seen that you've trained or that you've worked with, Brigitte, I wonder what you saw life was like before they started working with you, and then what happens to them after they work with you. Like, how does it actually impact their life?
It's a beautiful transformation. Yeah, I have had people that are like completely like kind of caged in their own bodies, right? And I was there too, so I can totally relate to that. And then slowly like giving like little pieces and of information, and yeah, the wake up process is beautiful, and then seeing them afterwards just like moving freely and enjoying who they are. It's really, really beautiful.
And obviously we heard how it transformed your relationship, but how have you seen it transform others' relationships? Tell me a story about a relationship that you've seen it transform.
A storybook. Yeah, I think I have I'm like.
And I know you're
trying
not
to
like, I
find
know you're not a
something.
therapist, honey. I know you're not a therapist, so it's not like
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
like
yeah.
working with couples on therapizing, their relationship, but it's a partner dance retreat. So I imagine it is stirring up something deep in relationships, right?
Definitely, definitely. Like the whole structure of like who we are meant to be, right, as a man or as a woman, and to realize, hey, we are much more than this. And there's so many struggles also that come out, like, hey, like always leading, and then suddenly you have to give up the lead, and especially like being trained of like I'm the one who has to lead all the time, and then suddenly it's just like letting go of this. um it's painful, like when you get to decide whatever you want to do, and then suddenly not, and then giving value to this not leading, which is something so beautiful to receive massages. I have had many men just be like, wow, this feels so good, like, oh wow, you give me a massage. I'm like, this is what you just did to me, like you move me through these movements. It feels so good, and I just wanted to show you what you do to me. And he was like, oh my god, like, you know just like he couldn't even really take it what was going on, but just like the feeling of like receiving it. Yeah, that was really beautiful. And yeah, also for women, um to where I see is like, to have a voice. And often we don't know that we actually can have a voice, right, that we have one. And to train this muscle, and um yeah, just becoming confident. And or what I got was like, wow, I've always felt like that. I felt this, but I didn't know how to do it, and you gave me tools to do it, and um yeah, that I can actually also lead. And then this translating to my life, right, to take action in your life, for it, whether it's work or private. um yeah, it's such a rich process. Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, y'all. Brigitte's retreat is February 10th, 2022. The prices range from $3,223 to $3,762 per ticket. Of course, that just has to do with the different accommodations that you may choose. And Imiloa has payment plans, so you can get your spot for just 20% down. It's going to be in Costa Rica at the most beautiful time of the year in Costa Rica, when most people are cooped up in North America and Europe for winter. Think about meeting others going through, often secretly, the same challenges that you're going through. You meet them here at the retreat, and you get to move through life in a new way together. Or maybe you love your connection to your body and you want to deepen it even more. Brigitte lived at Imiloa for a month, actually, and I saw how she works one-on-one with people, and it's really powerful how she can take people from all backgrounds straight into their body. Brigitte, besides the almost decade of training that you've had in this particular process, how did you learn how to get people so in touch with their bodies?
I think it's my own. I think you can feel actually that's my own embodiment. The more I research myself, the more I go deeper, the more I can transmit this, and not only in a verbal way, like people feel it. And this is something I take care of it a lot, because I really want to embody what I'm teaching. It's not just like, oh, I study it here. It's no, this here needs to be aligned. And yeah, it's so good for me, and this is why I'm so passionate about just teaching it to everyone, and giving this possibility of experiencing life from another point of view.
I'm curious, the daily flow of the retreat, what you're envisioning and what people can expect by the daily flow. What can people expect day to day?
So we're gonna start I will be giving meditation and like a movement flow yoga in the morning, around like 7 o'clock. And Imiloa is beautiful. It's oh my God, it's just being there for a whole month. I started to adapt to the jungle, and it gives you so much energy and at the same time peace. So I'll definitely put in like the jungle into my practices as well. And we'll have movement practices for about 2 hours in the morning after the yoga meditation, which is about partner dancing and free movement. Then usually some food, delicious food. I'll tell you, it's really, really tasty. So good. And then a little break. I want people also to have like rest and being able to, just being able to have like time to journal or enjoy Costa Rica, Imiloa. The pool is also amazing view, and just have chats with the people who are there and just learning from each other and sharing time and resting. And then we'll have more movement, and we'll do definitely also like dancing, just a little party, partner dance party. Yeah.
So for people, I'm curious, like obviously people who are body movement people or body experts or yogis or dance people, they're going to be interested in this. Who else is this retreat for, Brigitte?
For anyone that is like, hey, I want to move. I want to know how to get in touch with another person, to learn like how this energetical approximation works, right? We never learn that in school. Nobody teaches us that. And just if you are curious to learn something different, and that will definitely enhance your life, not only like on the dance floor.
Love that. All right, everybody. Brigitte's retreat is February 10th to 15th. 2022 at Imiloa. If you want to join, please go to imiloainstitute.com and click on retreats. Find Embracing the Flow, or you can just search for Brigitte Wittmer. And if you call anyone in the concierge team, Chelsea, Stina, or Shay, and you say the secret word, toucan, they'll give you $150 off your ticket just for listening to today's episode, all right? Brigitte, I'm excited to see you again in February, honey. Before we go, I'm curious, give me what your life was like before you found Zouk and started teaching it, and what your life is like now. What was the before and after before we go?
This is maybe a good note here. Get ready, because like if the Zouk bug bites you, you will not stop. Like you will want to go anywhere. There's like tons of congresses around the globe, retreats, and like many cities have Zouk, and you just want to dance. It's a beautiful community, and dance and dance and dance more, and it's really nice. And this was my life. Like before, obviously I danced, but didn't go to like socials. But discovering this world, I love it.
And I'm so happy you're coming back to Imiloa, because you offered me a free one-on-one and I did not take it, but I'm looking forward to taking you up on my one-on-one Zouk, Brigitte. I really appreciate you taking time and for sharing this with people, and I think it's going to be really great, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in a few months, okay?
Yes, looking forward to see you too. Sending you a big hug over to Costa Rica. And appreciate what you do with Imiloa. It's amazing, and let's do it more.
Thanks, honey. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.